everyone.
So I'm Arabelle.
I'm FATIMA ALIYA DAHAM,
And we're one of the student vloggers of
12 STEM DAGALEA.
So we're currently vlogging at the Blue Gray, located at the Suterville, Zamboanga City.
So we chose this place for our vlog, for this vlog, because it's not that chaotic and it's peaceful for the vlog.
So before we start, we will give you an overview or a montage of the Blue Gray.
So this time we will share the author's credential of this article. So the Brenner Center for Translational Research, or the BCTR, in honor of Cornell's renowned developmental psychologist named Yuri Brenner, who pioneered a multidisciplinary and translational approach to human development and helped create the Federal Health Start the program.
So the BCTR at Cornell University aims to develop new evidence on human development and then connect that evidence to policy and practice of human development to enhance the well-being of each human.
So after giving the author's credential, we will already proceed or discuss the main purpose or the main topic of this vlog, which is our article.
So we read an article entitled Mental Health and Sexual Orientation, What the Evidence Says. So we hope that you will listen
and you will give your precious time in our vlog, in watching in our vlog. So guys,
mental health and sexual orientation, what the evidence says. So according to BCTR, sexual minorities and people questioning their sexuality suffer from mental health problems at higher rates than the general public.
So this evidence demands new approaches to the ways our society addresses the challenges and needs of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals.
So being different in your race, gender, or sexual orientation is the main source of mental problems in our society. So when you don't conform to the norms of our society, you will find yourself as an outcast and you will suffer from the judgments from them each and every day.
So in 2015, a federal judge in Chicago appealed to the court and ruled that the 1964 Civil Rights Act should protect the sexual minors in job discrimination. But this law is not applicable to every state. There are still 31 states that is not following the 1964 Civil Acts right or Civil Rights Act. So job discrimination is just one of the issues for the sexual minors. The rights that surrounds the relationship and parenting is also one of these. It also includes the use of public places such as restrooms and schooling that adds up to the stress of an individual. So sexual orientation refers to an enduring pattern of emotional, romantic, and or sexual attractions to men, women, or both sexes. So sexual orientation also refers to a person's sense of identity based on those attractions, related behaviors, and members in a community of others who share those attractions.
So discrimination against LGBT persons has been associated with high rates of psychiatric disorders, substance abuse, and suicide. Personal, family, and social acceptance of social orientation and gender identity affects the mental health and personal safety of the LGBT persons or individuals.
So in mental health care, stigma, lack of cultural sensitivity, and unconscious and conscious reluctance to address sexuality may hamper effectiveness of care. So LGBT individuals that keep their sexuality hidden are at an increased risk of psychological distress or psychological disorders. So this also prevents them from accessing group-based coping resources that buffer against the negative effects of stigma. So because of this act of discrimination, people who are members of LGBT or the sexual minority tends to hide their true identity or true color. And also, they're preventing themselves from having a normal life comparing to others because they already have that mindset that they're already different because of their sexual identity. Good day everyone! So this is the day 2 or the part 2 of our vlog article review and
we're still here at Blue Gray sa Suterville, Zamboanga City.
so 1, 2, 3, let's continue! So over the past 2 years, there are 2 published systematic reviews that documents the emotional and psychological effect of being a sexual minority in the American society. So the first review was published in the American Journal of Public Health or the AJPH in the year 2016. So what is this AJPH? So the American Journal of Public Health is dedicated to the publication of the research methods and program evaluation in the field of public health. So the mission of this journal or review is to advance public health research, policy, practice, and education. So the review concludes that sexual minorities are more likely to attempt suicide during their lifetimes. So according to the community-based surveys included in the analysis revealed that about 20% of the sexual minority adults have attempted suicide. So by comparison, about only 4% of the general public attempts suicide. So you can really see the difference or the big difference of being in that situation and not. So when you don't conform to the norm of the society, you can really face a lot of societal challenges during your lifetime because you're not conforming to the normal doings or normal what do you call this actions of a normal individual in a society.
So we have the second systematic review, which was published by the International Review of Psychiatry in 2015. So the International Review of Psychiatry is the premier journal or premier reviewed journal in the field with a truly international authorship and readership. So each issue is or provides in-depth and scholarly reviews of the topic in focus. Their findings about the study was that adults who identify as lesbians, gays, or bisexuals suffer from depression at significantly higher rates than those who identify as heterosexual, that are the risks are even higher for homosexual and bisexual youth. So according to World Health Organization, depression is now the leading cause of disability worldwide. Depression comes in many forms from major depression to dysthymia and seasonal affective disorder. Depression is a complex disorder involving many systems of the body, including the immune system, either as cause or effect. It disrupts sleep and it interferes with appetite. In some cases, causing weight loss. In others, they gain weight. So their review is includes almost 200 studies, and 98% of the study found that heterosexual or sexual minors and even those who are questioning their sexuality are at heightened risk for attempting suicide.
So there are some evidences that the sexual minors who suffer from anxiety disorders at a higher rate that leads them to the abuse of alcohol and drugs. So anxiety encompasses feelings of worry, nervousness, or dread. So although unpleasant, occasional bouts of anxiety are natural and sometimes productive. So by signaling that something isn't that right, anxiety can help people both avoid the danger and to make important and meaningful changes. So, but anxiety often involves worrying to an intense and excessive degree. So those worries can apply to any aspect of life, from social situations and family dynamics to physical health and professional concerns.
So, sexual minorities face greater exposure to discrimination and rejection from others or from the normal individual ones. Given these threats, sexual minorities may engage in sexual orientation concealment in order to avoid danger. This social stigma and minority stress faces sexual minorities at risk for anxiety and related disorders. Anxiety disorder onset occurs before the age of 24 among sexual minorities, and also the symptoms of generalized disorder, social phobia, panic disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and depression in sexual minorities being observed.
So sexual minorities are at heightened risk of for a number of mental health problems, including the consumption of hazardous alcohols and substance use, like what I said earlier. So self-medication and impaired functioning models of the association among these variables and interpreted results within a life course framework that considered the society or social stressors experienced by sexual minorities. So a significant impact of minority stressors and social psychological resources on mental health and substance use among minority. So being one of the subjects of discrimination of this society, so they often be drug and alcohol dependent to conceal their emotions. So they rather link themselves to this to refrain from having social interactions with others that they feel that they do not belong, and only judge them for what they really are. And if someone you know or you think that it's not appropriate to insult them because of what they are, so you rather shut your mouth and then just do your own things, because they're also human beings. They also have feelings that you can maybe the fact or the
may experience the
no
future.
parang you may be the reason of why they are having those kind of mental problems in their lives.
So, in our both personal observations, sexual minors nowadays are afraid to come out of their closets and to tell who they really are.
So they often hide their sexual preference because they do not want to be judged and to be discriminated.
So nowadays, what I've said, sexual minors find it very hard to admit who they really are or what their sexual orientation is.
It also adds up to their stress, as they can witness how other people react to the same situations but on different people or different individuals.
And also, these minors tend to get anxiety and depressed based on how the people react on this situation.
So sexual minorities often get a set of negative and unfair beliefs that the society have something to say to them. So, others make them realize that being different is a sin. By then, mental disorders are being pronounced to them, and they start to isolate themselves to get rid of those judgmental people who are trying to devalue them instead of lifting them as part of the society.
So, sexual minorities tend to hide their true identity because even their family disapproves them for showing who they really are. They rather embrace the concealment of being different than to share it with other people that they know, who will never accept them. Now that they cannot find comfort with their own family, concealing is the only way, is the only key they think, and unconsciously leads them to having mental disorder or illness.
So, in conclusion, it is clear that sexual orientation and identity are important factors in understanding mental health and other well-being outcomes. Although the reason for this are some sort of unclear, sensitivity to the relationship between these are critical for protecting vulnerable people and populations.
So, on an individual, such prejudice and discrimination may also have negative consequences, especially if lesbian, gay, and bisexual people attempt to conceal or deny their sexual orientation. Although many lesbians and gay men learn to cope with social stigma against homosexuality, this pattern of prejudice can have serious negative effects on human well-being.
So, individuals and groups may have the impact of stigma reduced or worsened by other characteristics such as race, ethnicity, religion, or disability. Some lesbian, gay, and bisexual people may face less of a social stigma. So, for others, race, sex, ethnicity, religion, and disability or other characteristics may exacerbate the negative impact of prejudice and discrimination.
So, the widespread of prejudice, discrimination, and violence to which lesbians and gay men are often subjected are significant mental health concerns. Sexual prejudice, sexual orientation, discrimination, and anti-gay violence are the major questions and sources of stress for the lesbian, gay, and bisexual people.
So this ends here. Thank you very much for
listening and watching us up to this end of our review vlog.
And also, we want to take this time to thank Professor Madrazo for giving us this kind of opportunity and experience,
this kind of performance task, wherein it felt like it was exciting and challenging at the same time.
And also, it made us a vlogger for a short period of time, and also
boost our confidence.
Yes.
And it helped us have more experiences.
Yes, as a busy student, we don't usually do this kind of stuffs, but now that Sir Madrazo gave us this kind of performance task, we thankfully experienced it now. And once again, I'm Fatima ALIYA J. DAHAM,
And I'm Arabelle Alda
of 12 STEM DAGALEA, now signing off. Bye!